Well, welcome back to App Creative, everyone. Today we're interviewing industry strategy expert Corinne Bao from Gorgeous to talk about SaaS pricing strategy.
That's why pricing strategy is so important, because while you create so much value on your table, but if you don't capture it, your business still not really gaining any economic profit from it.
Welcome everybody. My name is Dale Richards, CEO of App Creative. We're an app development company on the Silicon Slopes of Utah, and we love building software that changes the world. If you want to create apps, scale your technology, transform your business, and disrupt the market, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell. Gorgeous is a customer engagement platform that speeds up time to resolution of customer issues. Some things to listen for in Corinne's interview would be the definition of price versus value, value creation versus value capture, different pricing strategies, how to discern based on customer feedback if your pricing is too high or too low, and how substitutes, remember those from Porter's 5 Forces, can impact pricing. And with no further ado, let's get to the interview.
I do feel like recently there are a lot of buzzwords around product, PLG, product operation. They're all very new concepts around creating product. But I think one fundamental question I always challenge myself is at what point does the product become great? For any of the great product we think in the market, you could probably find thousands of users still with complaints. So are they still a great product? So that's why I feel people not overemphasize, emphasizing on products is a great thing, but it's not just enough. How I think about it is as you build, add on new features, improve the product, you create value. That's a value creation part, but you still miss another part, which is value capture. And value creation, value capture is almost independent factor in your formula. So that's where when pricing, I think that's why pricing strategy is so important, because while you create so much value on your table, but if you don't capture it, your business still not really gaining any profit or not gaining any economic profit from it.
Can you define value creation versus value capture? How would you define those two concepts?
For me, I think value creation is delivered through product, right? Product either is solving a problem or bringing you economic benefit, economic profit to your business, that to any user that is value created. But value capture, I think for business, it's how do you monetize? How do you people pay for your product, right? And then how do they, and then the price they pay should match with the value that you deliver. So that's where the formula comes into place. Value creature times value capture is basically your business benefit.
You're saying that it's possible for a company to create value without actually capturing it, right? So if I have a SaaS product, I'm giving you these features, they're creating value for you, but if I'm undercharging, or if I'm not charging, or if I'm overcharging, then maybe I'm losing people for whom I could be creating value. So it's interesting that you draw the distinction between value creation and value capture. Tie that in with the pricing then. How does pricing fit into value creation versus value capture?
So that's actually a great point. So in marketing, there's a two concept. One is value and is price, and price needs to match with the underlying value, so that people are willing to pay for your product. So value, and to refine it, is probably perceived value by your customers, and how much you think your customer think you value your worth. And then price is from merchants, how much they would like to charge their customers with that product. And then it's kind of a balance. If you unbalance any of the thing in your formula, then there's something you could optimize. So that's like what pricing strategy is all about. It's just like always make your value capture more efficient. So that's a cool idea. I think what you said, like by and large capture what I mean too.
How do you know if your value capture is efficient? Like, what are the indicators that you can look out for? Or on the flip side, what are the indicators that your value capture is not efficient? Like if I'm the SaaS product owner, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say product owner. That's kind of a delivery term. But like if I'm the owner of the SaaS business and I want to optimize my value capture, what is it that's going to tell me that it's way off or that it's dialed in?
That's a great question. I think the most immediate direct way is to talk to your customer. You can probably have a feeling when you're in the pricing conversation with your customers. Do you get to see a lot of pushback, a strong pushback? Then like it's if it's a very frequent among your conversation with the prospect, then like it's alarming signal that like they think that your product is not worth that much of a high price. So that's like when you start. That's like when you kind of need to rethink over like if the price points make sense. And also like I think more importantly, it's like talking to your customers and know what's their thought process like to justify that price. Because like especially for software business, a lot of times if you ask them, hey, how do you like the price, I feel like especially I know this like from my customer calls. When I do my research, I talk to customers and ask them, yeah, how do you think about price? They usually just blank out. It's like, oh, I don't have an idea. You need to show me the product. So like it's like every time it's like I have this observation is that people are very different when they're like talking to you like your friend, and they're just like very, very friendly sharing their feedback. But once you put them in a sales environment, like you're doing the actual business with them, they like start to share their honest feedback. So that's why I think those sales calls are the best like kind of environments you get the customer feedback about your pricing, your like value capture efficiency. So in your sales calls, during those pricing conversations, if you almost find that no one is pushing back your like pricing and they think like, oh yeah, it's reasonable, that probably means that your price is a little bit too low. Because like no one is really like everybody gets to buying like really quickly. But on the other hand, if you're getting too much pushback, almost like in every certain call, then like that means that you need to like adjust down your price a little bit. So that's how I would think about it.
You said something interesting about I think you said asking the interviewee or the customer to describe their thought process on pricing.
Yeah.
That sounds different to me than asking them, how do you like the price, right? So what kind of questions would you ask to kind of guide them to outline their thought process? How would you word questions like that in an interview?
Yeah, I think so. That goes back to the value creation part. So like value creation, it's either you solve a problem for some people, right? And then the end result is like you save them like X amount of time, or you save them like hiring from like X amount of people. That can eventually like translate into some like dollar amount. Or it's like this product bring you extra dollar of money. Let's say a marketing product, like you just bring X dollar, like X number of like customers, and people will almost convert like them into like actual numbers. And then like for them, they have like a calculator in their minds. Like, so yeah, for me to justify buying this product, how much I am gaining or how much am I saving versus how much am I paying. And then they need to times maybe that ratio, they times that ratio to a certain confidence level. That's how like almost their thought process works. and then like, so convincing them with that kind of ROI calculator and then justifying your price would be very like helpful in like pricing conversations and in terms like value capture.
So you could ask them questions like, or maybe would you ask questions like, walk us through how you decide if this purchase is going to be a good deal for you or not? Like, how is it that we're creating value or you're justifying your spend? Like, how would you word a question like that in an interview?
In an interview, I would probably spend a lot of time trying to understand what's the goal they're trying to achieve with this product, and then why it is important for them, because that usually almost related to certain KPIs this person has to hit in their organization. And then I would say, yeah, how can I help you with achieve that goal, and how would you like to use that product? And they will tell you like, yeah, with that product, I think I can just like scale the process more efficiently. Then I don't need to hire like extra amount of people. It was like, yeah, that's a perfect point. You just build along that conversation. It's like, yeah, that's a perfect point. Yeah, we will help you save blah blah money. And then like, how much do you think like that product would like be worth for you? Like it's almost like leading them through the thought process and then getting to the price point. If you like just ask them, hey, how much do you think this price, like the product worth? They're probably like, I have no idea. I have no clue. What about you? Tell me. So that's a funny observation I have like during customer calls.
Like they're not pricing strategists, so it's like, how are you expecting me to answer that question?
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think about questions like, tell us how much you're currently spending to solve this problem?
How much time I spent?
Like would you, so I'm looking for like specific questions, that almost kind of formulaic ones that entrepreneurs can use when they're having those conversations with their customers. So I'm curious to know what you think about questions like these. Like, let's say I ask a question like, tell us how much you're currently spending to solve this problem. Like, you mentioned KPIs, like you want to get them talking about the KPIs, the problems they're trying to solve. And so I'm kind of curious to know like the specific questions you would ask to get them talking about those things. So questions like, how much are you currently spending to solve this problem would be one potential question,
Yeah, definitely.
I think just going, asking questions like, how do you go about solving this now? What are you currently doing? And I like focusing on the kind of the reality of the now, rather than kind of putting it into this hypothetical situation, because hypotheticals are so they're sometimes a little bit too flexible, and so they might not always give a clear picture of reality. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Gorgias. Tell us about the product, and tell us about the kind of pricing strategy that you're using there, if you can.
Yeah, so Gorgias is a help desk solution tailored for e-commerce merchants. We serve like thousands of like D2C brands, like Kylie Beauty. It's like a famous one. So so this product, so we have the core product is the help desk, and then we also have Gorgias Automate, which could help people just automate like the customer inquiries and solve all these questions without like agents coming to help. We also have like voice, SMS add-ons. So like the core idea behind it is like for brands like CX team, they can just integrate all channels into one. So they don't need to switch different tabs, so that largely increase their efficiency. And also, we firmly believe that like creating an excellent customer experience is the way for brands to go in the future down the road, especially with like marketing, getting so expensive, digital marketing getting like expensive nowadays. So like, how do you retain your customers through your excellent customer experience? How do you like create like a smooth, seamless online shopping experience, just like the one you have in your retail stores? Is the key. So that's what being focusing on. Of course, like we are also building like new products tailored for like other teams on the brands, just to create that, like, very create to so that all the team can work together to create like a seamless customer experience for the shoppers.
So the big problem that you're solving is that these brands are using multiple tabs and multiple channels, different tools, and you're saying, hey, we're going to pull that all into one. You'll pay less than you would be paying for all these other tools, and it'll all be in this seamless experience. Is that kind of the value creation that you're talking about?
Exactly. Imagine you have to deal with like 300 emails a day, and then also like Instagram messages, Facebook messages, TikTok videos with messages. So, but we like integrate them all into one, and also we can create templates, macros, rules for you so that you can easily resolve all the customer inquiries. So like on the shoppers end, they can just get their problem solved within like 5 minutes or 10 minutes instead of waiting for like an hour, another day to get brands to respond. So that is the biggest value that we're trying to create.
How is it currently priced, and why is it priced that way?
Yeah, so I think in the software world, pricing is actually a trend thing. In like 2 decades ago, flat rate is like the most common model. And then like a decade ago, probably per seat is a very trendy model. But now we're into an era that like usage-based seems to be the trendy model. And then we think that we are like a modern solution. We definitely like wanted to adopt the newest, like the latest like pricing model where like most of people found that makes sense. So for us, we priced based on total like usage. So basically how many tickets the agents resolve through our gorgeous product. Basically, that is the value metric, and that determines the price they pay per month for us. So I guess that is basically we're trying to like align our value to like customers' value, because like for whatever usage they use, we only charge that part instead of others.
So it's a consumption model then, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
What resistance or challenges do you have in working with a consumption model? Like, are there buying objections with a consumption model? Is there pushback from the customer on a consumption model? Tell me more about like when the rubber meets the road. Consumption model means that you're going to have these challenges.
Yeah. I mean, so every model has like pros and cons. Like for the consumption model, I think the biggest con is that it's a little bit hard for people to estimate like how much they're gonna use in that month. And then, but the pro is that they only pay the amount that they use. So like it will usually attract people who value like flexibility over predictability in their billing cycles. So it's like kind of like a self filtering process. Like we designed this model, and we always attract people who emphasize a lot like flexibility in their bills, and they're comfortable with like unpredictable bills in their billing cycles.
Is it challenging to market that and sell it online, like self-service selling? You know, if I am your lead and I land on your page on your website, right, and I'm looking at your pricing, maybe I don't know how much I'm going to use. Like, is that a challenge when you're doing a consumption model?
Yeah, but also there are like a lot of ways you could do to like mitigate this type of issue. Like for example, I think we have like a good data science team to help us understand like what is the ballpark for each like merchant, like which tier they usually would subscribe to, and then we have like a lot of data to like help us to understand like or help like merchants to better select the tier that they want to end up with. So that could be one option. And the other option I've seen other people doing is that they design different plans with different features, and then different feature sets. They deliberately choose the feature set so that they know that like certain type of profile would subscribe to the basic plan versus the enterprise plan or the pro plan. So that way, just like to help people better determine what tier they would subscribe for, and then maybe like alleviate the pain in the process a lot.
So you're kind of giving like a little prompt that says like, if you're this kind of business at this size, with many team members, you probably only need this tier. But if this kind of size of business, then you probably will want this. So you're kind of recommending like, here's the best tier for you.
Yeah. So I think products and like data team, they can all come in to help with this, come up with different types of solution.
Are you suggesting, or are you advocating, product feature tiers with a consumption model at the same time, or is it best to keep those separate?
I've seen like a lot of both models in the market. I feel like every product has its own like unique business context. So I feel like it's almost like case by case scenario. And then for us, it's we decided to be like more like purely like consumption model. We don't really gate too many features for each plan, because that's like what we believe in and what we want to, like what our values drive us to make that decision, because we want to be like customer first. We don't want to like gate any features for any like plans. So that's our like deliberate choice, not necessarily like, oh yeah, the other model is definitely like way better than like the other model.
Yeah. But you said that it was because of your choice, because of your values. So values are an input into pricing. The company values are an input. I haven't heard it worded quite like that before.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think, because pricing is the touch point where you are asking money from customers. I think like it's also where you need to be consistent with your like value. Otherwise, like I think all the branding just like fall apart. If you're like advocating, oh yeah, we are like customer first, we want to be fair to you. Meanwhile, like, we're like doing like nasty things behind the scenes. Like we were like not disclosing every information to you until the checkout page, then like it's not like what the value is demonstrating.
Yeah. Well, you've enlightened me. I've always considered like kind of the 3 C's of pricing: the customers, the competitors, and the cost, right?
Yeah.
And values is kind of like a fourth really important criterion. Like what does the company value and how does that impact your pricing? That's awesome.
Yep.
Let's see. I think we've covered a lot of good ground. Is there anything else in particular that you wanted to say or share?
Yeah, I think I cover a lot of stuff too. But one last very interesting thing that I came across when I was like doing a lot of research is that for software products or for any entrepreneurs, I think it's very important to think through what are the free alternative options are there in the market, because that would be the biggest competitor for like entrepreneurs who are building a product which is probably not necessarily great in the first place yet, because it's a more like a scrappy MVP version. And then for people who are trying to find the product market fit, it's almost like you almost need to do more research about the free solution in the market. And then what's interesting, once I read an article, I think that one is really interesting, is that Excel is the free competitor. It's a very competitive player in the market for every software solution. So when it comes to pricing, I guess it's a point that you need to see, how painful is the pain point, and then how much are people willing to pay for a product versus they could just do it in Excel, which is already like really amazing. So I'm always thinking about that. I was like, oh yeah, for example, Notion. Do you think people will pay Notion if it's priced to like $20 or $30 per person? I think like it'd probably be very different story. Because right now it's like only $10 per seat, and people will probably be like, oh yeah, $10 just to upgrade from Excel, which is not like a perfect solution, but it's still like a working solution. And so I was like, oh yeah, that really makes sense for me now. So every time I just like try to think, oh yeah, can my product beat Excel, and how much people are willing to pay more than Excel, which is a free version. So yeah.
Corinne, thank you. This has been wonderful. I appreciate your insights, especially about values, about comparing yourself to the free products that are out there, value creation, value capture. So many great insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dal. Yeah, it was my pleasure to be here. I really enjoy the conversations too.
So many great things to learn from Corinne. If you want to move forward in the strategy series to explore the go-to-market strategy, watch this interview with Matthew Taylor. That's this video up here. Or if you want to watch the whole strategy series, watch this playlist right here.